What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Locker Room to Boardroom, the podcast. Very excited for today. I don't even know why I keep calling it a podcast. I don't really get the feel of us being a podcast. We're having conversations, we're sharing stories. I guess that's like a podcast, but hopefully we're a little bit different. But, anyways, I digress. Very excited about today. We have an awesome individual on, Connor Durant. He was It's actually pretty cool. He played two different sports in college. And so we always like those stories, a little bit unique in that perspective, right? But started out playing football at CSU Pueblo and then went and became a goalkeeper on the soccer team up at Colorado Mesa. Now is a mortgage broker, business development executive with 3 Point Mortgage in the Denver area. And so we are very excited about this episode, very excited to hear about the different perspectives of sports and schools and now in the real estate world. So, as always, Mike in the house. Michael.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. Connor, thank you for jumping on with us. We're excited to share your story and help some people, man. Let's get it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Thanks for having me, y'all. Excited to talk a little bit more with you guys because what you guys are doing is pretty special. So yeah, no, I'm excited.
Oh man, it's always a good time. It's fun. These stories are they're good. It's a lot of good stories, a lot of good points of reflection. That's what we were just joking on before we jumped on here, right? As a lot of people, it's funny. It's funny, as you get older and life starts to get busier, there's a lot of those moments that you kind of forget about, those little moments, but at the same time, it's like that was one of the most influential time periods in our lives and how they shaped us, and all the stuff that we had to go through as an
100%.
athlete, right? But no, man, typically the way that we like to start these things out is, just love to hear about just growing up, what'd you like to do for fun? Where'd you grow up? What'd you like to do? How'd you get introduced to sports, competing? What'd you do with your friends? All that good stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm a Colorado native, born in Broomfield, Colorado. Grew up here my whole life. I my whole life has been sports. An athlete's been my identity the whole time, and I love it. Very thankful for it. The day when I was 4 or 5 years old, got thrown onto a soccer field and basketball court, and the second I got on there and kind of realized exactly what to do and got done with it, I was like, this is the most fun that I. I know I'm 5 years old. I haven't experienced much, but I was like, this is fun. I want to do this. So growing up, it was mainly soccer and basketball. Played a little bit of baseball until about fifth grade when it became competitive for soccer and needed to pick which sport. I was a decent infielder. I'm not the best hitter. I claim to
Come on,
fame.
man, you're a goalie, right? You got to be
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
So I was good with that. But when it came to batting, like my claim to fame was hitting a foul ball into a trash can. So that's that's it. And then I pitched twice, and we don't even want to talk about that. So,
Oh man.
but
No,
yeah.
that's
So
yeah, that's awesome. Enjoying it right away. It's funny. Me and Mike, we're both in the realm of coaching
yeah,
those little kids, and that's part of our big push is we just want you guys to enjoy it. Smile, have fun, learn what this is about, but make sure you're enjoying it. But that's awesome, man. So basketball and soccer were the first
yep. I
ones. All
was
right, cool.
yeah, that was the biggest part. And then leading into my freshman year of high school, just a lot of buddies of mine in middle school who played football. They just kept harping on, hey man, come try football. Because I would always play at lunch and was decent at it. So I was like, okay. So I tried out for the freshman team. Played the whole time. Was pretty good in that realm. So then started on varsity from my sophomore year to senior year. Was a wide receiver, free safety, punt returner, kick returner, a little bit of everything. Kicked a little bit, but it was nice when I didn't have to, so I could get a little bit of a break, which was nice. And like kicking, I know I play soccer, but kicking field goals in the football world, it's tough. It's a whole different world than people think. So I was glad
Oh
I
man.
didn't have to do
Yeah.
it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's hilarious. Were you always playing goalie in soccer, even as a growing up?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And I played half and half. So I would play striker and then goalkeeper until my eighth grade year when the other goalkeeper he stopped playing soccer. So I was kind of the only one there, and they're like, "You want to play goalie full time?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." And kind of just,
Yeah, are you asking me or telling me?
yeah, I know. It was pretty much, yeah, the telling, and I was like, that's fine, that's cool. So, yeah, I was doing that. But when I started playing football in high school, I starting to get some interest and look some colleges. So I decided to quit soccer after my sophomore year, because I was just playing club soccer. I wasn't playing high school soccer.
Okay.
So I had quit soccer my sophomore year to focus on football. And that's when, yeah, I eventually went to CSU Pueblo my freshman and sophomore year. Yeah, shout out to Thunderwolves. Yeah, it was a great experience out there. They've built not only their football program, but just athletics in general.
Dude, yeah, that's a
That
crazy.
school is, yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome. They
that's
won,
a crazy.
yeah, and they won the Natty the year before I went up there, so that was a huge selling point. And even though I only spent 2 years there, learned from a lot of different people, met a lot of cool people, great experience. But after that, I just was back home. I was working in Boulder, working in athletic field maintenance, just cutting grass, all that good stuff, and did that for 2 years. And then my one of my best friends, Cody Calcano, he was up at Colorado Mesa in his senior year. And one summer, I was just the summer before fall of 2019, going into a senior year. I was like, hey, man, this is going to sound crazy, but what if I got back into soccer and tried to play up at Mesa? And he's like, hey, man, you haven't played in 6 years. and, and you got some football weight on you. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. So I started training a little bit because I did decide, I was like, hey, we're gonna do this. So I enrolled in up at Mesa, just got into classes. My buddy Cody, he let the coaches know about me. And so he got me into an initial meeting right when I got there. And they're giving like, oh, that's cool. I pretty much just got the meeting because of my buddy. And at the time, there was already 5 goalkeepers. So I was coming in as the 6th string goalkeeper. And, for anybody listening who's not big into soccer, think of it like a quarterback in football. If the starter, if he's doing well and playing well and not hurt, like he's going to be playing. The backup might get
Yeah.
there, but that's kind of how it goes. So coming in as the 6th string, of course these coaches aren't, too serious or care too much to put me on, which is fair, So, but after going into their office for 5 straight weeks, once a week, they eventually were like, all right, man, like I guess we'll give you a shot, because you just keep on showing up.
Well, hold on. You just showed up, or
Yeah.
you had appointments asking?
So the first meeting I had it with my buddy Cody, like he had set it all up. And then they kept saying like, oh yeah, we'll reach out to you, get things going. And, they never did. So yeah, I would show up to the office. If they weren't there, I would just sit outside until they show up. And they'd be like,
Man, Rudy.
yeah.
Rudy. Rudy.
So
Oh
that's
man.
exactly it.
Dude, yeah, good for you. That's
Wow.
freaking awesome. And that also, it's funny that you mentioned, in when you started, because you started playing football freshman year, right? And then just
Yeah.
freshman, sophomore year, just all right, all in.
Yeah.
That's a, that's a quick sell. That's a quick
Yeah.
sell.
No, it is. So yeah, eventually after the 5th time, they were kind of just like, all right, man, like we'll get you out. So they did get me out to practice that next week, and took 2 years of just building and building, showing up every day to training, showing up early, staying late, all that good stuff, and just really getting back into the swing of things as a goalkeeper. That's why I know you see Kobe behind me, that Mamba mentality. That's what drove me there. If guys were looking to train, I'd be out there taking 150, 200 shots, just trying to get back into the rhythm. And then by that point, my last 2 years up at Mesa, I became the starter and started those 2 years. So it took its time, but there's a lot of beauty in staying patient, and believing in that you're going to make that happen. And honestly, being a little bit delusional to the fact that you are going to make it happen, which I had to be. But give it 2 years, became the starter and earned All-American honors. And, I just believe it's a testament to that work.
That's wild. That 8-year span or 10-year span of your life between high school starting. Did you play football before that?
No, I started playing football freshman year of high school. That was like that was the first organized like actual football. that I was playing. So
That's okay. So I got a couple questions on this, but
yeah,
I'll just ask one right now. Like, to do that,
yeah,
like you're putting yourself out there, you're kind of going all in. So like
yeah,
at one point in high school, you quit soccer.
yeah,
My daughter plays soccer. I understand the commitment on that. That's
yeah.
a big time commitment as far as a sport. You put that down that you started first just to focus on football, and then at a certain point in college, you put everything down to focus on soccer. What gave you the confidence that you could accomplish whatever you had in your mind? Was there
You
people in
know,
your life? Was it an inner monologue? Well,
y-
kind of how that break down?
yeah, no, that's a great question, and I think a lot of it is that inner voice. I always tell people, hey, especially to get right mental, you got to become best friends with that voice in your head. And I've always had that, and always told myself like, hey man, you might as well try. If you don't, that regret you're gonna live with, and you don't want that regret. If I try it and I fail, it doesn't happen. I can live with that. It might sting in the moment, but later on in life, I'm not going to be regretting, hey, did this happen? Or what if this would have happened? So it was, I would say, an inner confidence thing. And just honestly, the football part was just because I was starting to see traction and getting looks. So that gave me the confidence of saying, like, hey, this is legit. And then getting back into soccer, it was honestly just the regret of quitting. I was always one of the top goalkeepers in the state and was going to look to get into some academy stuff. So that regret of, hey, looking back and being like, hey, what if I would have stuck with soccer? I didn't want to live with that regret. And so, same thing. I was like, hey, I'll go up there to Mesa. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, cool. But I know that I tried. And I think
Right.
having that mindset helped me out a lot. And like I said, yeah, that Mamba mentality helped me out a lot as well.
That is wild. That's a wild 10-year span of your life.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if it got
Yeah.
confusing with me explaining because it's a lot of different pieces, but yeah.
And anywhere in that process, like I got an idea the answer to this, but
Um,
in that process, was there ever any doubt?
I'm gonna be real with you, Mike. No,
No.
I just I knew if I kept going and kept going, something was gonna happen. I believed in my ability as an athlete. Especially when you come back to the soccer, I knew what I was capable of. Then I accepted early that it might take a little bit longer, and in a way to get away from that doubt was just extra work. I woke up every single day and got to work, and doing that, that's what gave me the confidence that this could happen.
That's good. That's helpful, man. That's good.
Yeah, that's a crazy journey, man. That's freaking awesome. And to go from six string to one
Yeah.
is pretty dang cool. So how did you, through all that extra work and, the team and school and social life and all that stuff, I mean, how was it for you just trying to kind of navigate that space entering back into soccer and college and sports? And I mean, how was that kind of just for you on the mental side?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like you said, it was a lot of moving parts, and so the way I got ahead of that was when I got up in Mesa. I was 22 years old, so I had spent 2 years at Pueblo. I did do a semester at CU Denver when I got back, but then stopped doing that. I was just working. So yeah, to get back in the swing of things school wise, the way I managed that was I kind of felt like an old head going into back at Mesa because I was already 22. So I online all online classes. Like I was all online so that I could manage my time a little bit better with soccer and then be
Mhm.
able to be flexible.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I had already gone to class, done all that, and to be honest, my goal going up to Mesa was to play soccer. So that was kind of top priority. But I also understand, you need to get through school, one to be eligible to play, and two get your education, very important. So I was able to kind of manage it in that way. And then when you say the social side of things, I was like soccer was everything. If I was able to do some social stuff here and there, cool. But I'd kind of already done that, college life of socialness. So I was just dialed in to soccer. That's all I thought about.
Dang, that's a good way to it's such a clear sense of like purpose for the goal you're trying to achieve, right? And that's a pretty special thing to have as you kind of get, into that chapter of your life, especially, looking at it now. We all are much wiser when we look back and look at our journeys now, right?
Yeah.
But that's That's freaking sweet. So how is it, obviously being 22 and gone through the football side of things, then getting back in there, how would you say that you were like received by the team, the players?
Yeah, that's actually no, that's another great question. In the beginning, it was an easy transition, I think, because my buddy Cody was on the team, and I had actually a year prior, I had actually lived up in Grand Junction for about a month, just to kind of hang out. It was when I was at CU Denver doing online classes. I just kind of lived up there on a month on my buddy's couch and
Uh-huh.
was just hanging out. So people kind of already knew me a little bit. And my buddy Cody did a great job of helping me and introducing me. So that it was an easier transition than just some random dude out of nowhere coming that I did.
Well,
So
that's, it's funny that, because like the goalie it's like the quarterback, right? I mean, you're kind of
yeah,
the field general. You see
yep,
everybody. I mean, just,
yeah,
so just kind of coming in that regard into that position.
yeah.
Um, yeah, all right.
Yeah. And I always like to, bring such a great energy to where people just want to be a part of it. I didn't come in, obviously I wasn't, gonna be cocky or arrogant in certain things. Like I'm all about just the team aspect. I've been captains on a lot of my teams because I'm really good at I love building relationships with each player because each player is going to be different. So if you can find how they operate, I started to do that with the new team right away, and just starting to learn them and who they are as people, not as a soccer player. And I think that did help me build better relationships with the team, so that they didn't think I was that crazy. Hey,
Oh
as a
man.
goalkeeper, you got to be a little crazy. You got to be calm, but you got to be crazy as well.
I mean, that's a tough position. I mean, all eyes on you.
Yeah.
Um, I know, especially at the youth level, what I've seen is when goalies when there's a score, right? That
Yep.
the goalies take it personal, like it's on them, and really, it's a lot more going on than that, right? It's your defense and everything. What was there a time, or maybe this is your whole career, where if there was a score, you took it was on you, or was it were
That's
you able
every single goal.
every single goal, every single so you couldn't fight that? Okay, that's a
Yeah, I love a goalkeepers. Even if they know, like obviously it has to get to that point,
sure.
unless you specifically made the mistake and it happened, but like that's because that's our job. Our job is to let nothing pass. So even if it is a shot that, no goalkeeper can get to, whatever, it is a little deflating because, that's our job. So yeah, being mentally strong about that is huge. And especially too when you get scored on and you go down. If say you're up
I,
2-0, 3-0, you get scored on, you're
yeah,
still winning.
yeah.
It's a little easier to get through, but it's when you go down, how can you recover from that?
So, like, if that happened,
Mm-hmm.
what were you saying to yourself mentally? Like, what was it's all like, take me through what you were thinking.
Yeah,
How did you bounce back that quickly?
definitely. So in the beginning, it would take time and time for me to actually just be like, okay, get rid of it. Just like that man Ted Lasso say, be a goldfish. Just forget it right away. But I think as I got along, it would just be talking to myself in my head of, okay, hey man, it is what it is. You got a team in front of you that's going to back for you. Just stay loud, stay communicating, because that's a problem with goalkeepers is when you do get scored on, you start to get quiet. You don't feel confident in talking, which as a
Mm.
goalkeeper, you need to be communicating and talking at all times. And if you go quiet and they can hear it in your tone, then the other team's gonna have confidence to go at you because they can say, "Hey, he's down." So,
Interesting. Yeah.
so it
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's letting yourself know, like, "Hey, man, like you got to stay confident, or else another goal is gonna slip by. You're gonna make a mistake you usually don't." Yeah,
Yeah, other team got him.
yeah,
Got him. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
man. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no. I think we both can relate. I think in sports at a high level, you got to be able to reset quickly. But obviously with baseball, with Jake, you have to reset from hit to hit, right? Every time you're up at the plate. And as a defensive back, same thing. If you get burned, if you take it to the next series, you know,
Yeah,
it,
he
it,
get
it
burned
can be
again. Yeah,
impactful. Yeah, it can be impactful. So they
yeah,
say short memory,
yeah.
and so that's why I was asking. That's good.
Yeah, no,
That's
yeah.
good. And
Yeah,
that's good
no,
for
that
people
is
listening. That's major
no,
too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So talk a little bit about so just in terms of like weight room conditioning training from the football side to the soccer side, and how is that different for you?
Yeah, it's completely different worlds. The workouts up at Pueblo were legit, and I was like, yeah, this is why they won a national championship. From the cadence of, you get on there and they'd say set number one, set number one. Then you do your workout, you have the specific rest time, and then you get to the next one. Set number two, set number two, and like the leader is yelling that while the other position group is calling it back. And if you didn't do it loud enough, if you weren't on cadence, boom, dropping 25 V-ups, you started again.
Football
Um,
stuff, man.
yeah,
Football stuff.
it was nuts. And I remember when I went on my visit, the DB coach, Coach Leo, rest his soul, one of the greatest guys. He passed from cancer. Great guy. His name is on the weight room up at Pueblo. One of the best dudes I've ever come in contact with. When I was there visiting, the DBs, they were always the 545 group, always the early group. He never let that change. And when they got done with the workout and he just wasn't having it, didn't think it was good, he made them redo the entire workout. And I was like, wow. I was like, well, I'm glad I'm a receiver, not a DB. But so, at that time, a lot heavier weight, all that good stuff. And then, yeah, transitioning to the soccer side of things, it is very important, the workouts in the weight room, definitely more important on the goalkeeping side. But it was funny when you get in there, you kind of just do like you have your game plan from your coach, but there is no cadence, there's no calling out. Guys kind of just doing stuff here and there. So that was a little different. But definitely on the conditioning side. Our coach made us goalkeepers pass the same fitness test as the field.
Ooh. Were there questions about that? I got to ask why.
So, I mean, I attest to it. Nowadays, in the modern game, goalkeepers, you got to be fit. You got to be athletic. It's not just you're just the big guy back there. You got to be active with your feet. You got to be moving all around. So, I still think we maybe could have just done half of it. But also too, so the way I look at it, my mindset was, okay, I'm gonna pass this so that no one else has an excuse not to pass it.
Sure.
Like, because so I passed it every single time, and I did that intentionally so that no one else could be like, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, hey man, I stand in goal all game and I passed it. So and all you do is run. So what are we doing here?
Right.
So it helped because I believe every goalkeeper should set the standard for whatever team that you're on. Because Jake, like you were saying, we're the commander back there. We might not be doing as much, but we should set the standard.
Yeah, dang, man. It's funny. And it's just one of the things, that we've seen more and more as we get into this now, just the tone and the vibes of all these different sports are so
Yep.
different, right? It's,
Yeah.
even going when we were down in Texas at the Dream Bowl, it's just, I mean, that's Mike's world. Just got
Yeah.
him so fired up. Just,
Love it.
oh,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
it's like the first time I think that he came when they moved out here, and I was coaching high school baseball at the time, and he came over and he was like, "What are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, we're practicing." He's like, "What?"
It's like this isn't it. This isn't right.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
no, it
man.
was yeah, and just last thing on that, it was you would sprint 120 yards and have to jog back, and you'd have to sprint in a certain amount of time, jog back, and you would do that 5 times, rest for 2 minutes, and then do that again another 5 times. So, and I'm like, so I never said it, but I should have went to my coach and said, hey, since I passed this, I deserve to at least 1 or 2 times on a random corner. I should be able to come up and try to
Yeah.
score because I can sprint back. You've seen it.
Oh,
But he
Oh,
probably wouldn't have had any of that. So
no. Oh, man.
man. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's good though, man. And that, kind of going through it that way is it's cool. It's unique to kind of get all those different perspectives to see that work ethic behind it. I love that, this setting the tone for the team. And, if I'm doing it, all that stuff is phenomenal. And so, once you got to be the starter, I mean, how are those seasons? How was it for you? How was it for the team? I mean, how'd you guys do kind of throughout your career there?
yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, the first year we won the RMAC, won the tournament. And then we played Colorado School of Mines in the round of 32 up at Mesa. We beat them in a penalty shootout, which I ended up saving three of their shots, and then saved the last one to win it for us. And then we unfortunately lost in the round of 16 to Cal State LA, who went on. They went on to win the national championship. Great side. I think they won back to back in those years. So yeah, that was great. And then yeah, that was my All American year. And then second year, we were close in with the RMAC, a little tougher year. Had some injuries here and there, and then missed out just on the brink of playoffs. But still very successful years, as it should, because that is a standard as well up at Colorado Mesa University. The soccer
Oh,
team,
another great
prolific.
sports,
Yeah,
another
and
great
just the
sports
school.
school.
Yeah, school in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, for anyone on here listening, yeah, Mesa it's no matter what sport you play, even if you just go to school there, it's beautiful. It's one you come home for Christmas break and you're ready to get back up there. I have nothing but love for Grand Junction.
Yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome. So you mentioned something in there, and I guess this is just out of personal
Uh-huh.
curiosity now, more than anything. So how as a goalie
Uh-huh.
in PKs, how do you what's your thought process? What's going on with the goalie in penalty kicks
Yeah.
in those kind of situations?
No, I'm so glad you asked that because I love penalties. Like I absolutely love them. Mainly because the first thing that you need to think is the pressure is on the person shooting. Like I'm not supposed to save this. They have a
Uh-huh.
free shot from 12 yards out and they get to choose where it goes. I have to guess. So
Yeah.
like, take away all the pressure. And then, yeah, the mind
Mm.
games of trying to get in their head, maybe grabbing the ball, throwing it to them, maybe talking to them a little bit, trying to, crack a joke. Or I would never I wouldn't want to poke the bear. But I would always try and get in their head a little bit. And then
Give me
for me,
something. Give me something. Give me something you would say.
I mean,
It's PG. This
yeah, no, I
PG.
mean, so for me, like one of mine, if I had the ball, I'd kind of look and try and hand it to him, and I'd just be like, you know what you need to do, you know what you need, and then kind of like setting that expectation of like you're supposed to score this, man. Like, go ahead, you need to do it. And so that would hopefully get them to either go my way that I go or miss. But that was baseline, nothing too crazy. Sometimes I would just like look at them and smile, and they just be like, why is this guy? This guy is kind of weird. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I do. I'd always be in the goal, moving around. I would try here and there to see certain players if I could watch on film if they've taken pens
Yeah.
earlier in the season to see which way they like to go.
Mid-season.
Yeah, if they're a right footer, they'll probably go to their right because they can open up their hips. It's harder to close the hips and go left.
Go back slide.
So I would always keep that in mind. And then if I don't know if you've seen, some guys they'll run up to the ball, kind of jump and
Yep.
wait for a goalie to go one way, and then they'll shoot at the other. So the way I would kind of even that out is I would give them a fake first. So as they jump, I would try and shuffle to one side to make them think I'm going there, put a foot in the ground, and then slide back over. So I was trying to reverse the psychology on there, or reverse their game plan. But yeah.
And so goalies, do you just have to make a call, like what you're going to do, which way? Because it's so fast, right?
Yeah,
So
100%. Like as you get to the higher levels, they're going to lace through the ball, and you can't just react and guess. You have to make a decision in the moment. And there's been a few times where I'd be like, all right, I think this guy's just going to go down the middle, and I would just hold and saved a few, didn't save the others, but you gotta make that decision one way or the other.
Yeah. Mm.
Man, it's so cool to hear because it's, one of the things that we always like to dive into a little bit is just we always call it in baseball the game within the game,
Oh
right? A
yeah.
lot of times from the surface, these sports in general look so simplistic in nature, right? And just, hey, here's what you're supposed to do. That, you're trying to go down and score a goal, the other team's trying to stop you. But then there's so many different things
Oh,
on the mental side, the
yeah.
battles, the little mental chess matches that are all happening between the game within the game, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the best part. Like whenever there was a corner kick, usually there'd be a player they'd put on the goalkeeper to try and mess with. So, you're trying to step on their heels a little bit, maybe step on some toes, on the back of the calf a little bit. No, my favorite was I would pretend as if I was yelling a command to a teammate, and it could be an actual command or just yelling something, but I would yell it, scream it as loud as I could right next to that guy's ear. And then he'd be like this, and I'd be like, "You're standing here, man, and I got to communicate.
Oh
So
my
make a choice."
goodness. That is hilarious. That's good.
Oh, yeah, that is freaking awesome, man. It's so funny. I love those chess matches. That's
Yeah.
like that was my favorite thing about baseball is
Oh
just
yeah.
like
In baseball, that's the whole game.
that's the whole thing, right? I mean, baseball's not very physical, so it's all that mental game,
Oh,
that chess match, right? But that's sweet, man. And so how did it feel for you? So what were you I mean, how old were you when you were starting? How did you kind of feel, towards the tail end of your college career, looking and kind of looking into the future?
yeah, no, definitely. When I first started, my first year I was 24. Finished that second year, or yeah, 24, and then by the end, closing up on 25. And definitely, it was interesting because I felt again like an old head in there. I always said, the 6 years I took off evened out, me being 24 in college. But it was something looking into the future, and I'd always had dreams to play, even past college. And there was actually, so in between my junior and senior year, I played down in Laredo, Texas one summer for a semi-pro team, Laredo Heat. And we did very well there. I was the NPSL goalie of the year there. One of my favorite teams I've played on, because myself and one other, we were the only two Americans on the team. And that was pretty cool in itself.
Yeah.
That team in summer is a whole another story. I love that. But going forward after that, I want to go to the next level. So I did an open tryout up at Hailstorm FC up in Windsor when they
Yeah.
were there. So spent a couple years there as a practice goalkeeper pretty much the whole time. But it was a great experience. Didn't get any game time, but what I learned from training for 2 years and around those guys was awesome. But it did come to a point where my body I was feeling it. Because I was there an hour early, helping the guys that don't play as much get extra work in, train, stay another 30 minutes, hour after to help them get more work in, and then I would go back to Broomfield and coach goalkeepers at Broomfield Soccer Club. And so yeah, my body was I felt way old at the time. I was 25, 20 or 26, 27. And yeah, I did not feel 26, 27. I felt a lot older. And it was, yeah. So I started to look forward. I'm like, hey, I'd really like to walk when I'm 30. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's time. And
Oh man.
as you guys know, that it's the hardest decision to make, but it's, it eventually, ends for every athlete. And that's why locker room to boardroom is just amazing, and why it rang home to me right away. Because when I got done, I was lost. I had no idea what to do. We know as athletes, it's our whole identity. It's been our whole life. So for you guys to have a platform for kids to get in early and, provide something to where when they're done with their sport, they're not scrambling to figure things out. They can be like, hey, like I can go talk to Jake or Mike about, a certain job or whatever it may be. It's special, man.
Yeah, man. We'll
Sure.
appreciate that. We're biased. We like it. But but stepping back real quick
Yeah.
is again, this is another I like that I all these personal curiosity questions.
Yeah.
And so in soccer, when obviously your dreams and aspirations and you're working towards that next level, right? Obviously, like football is a good example that NFL is number one, right? Everybody, you can go to the NFL, basketball, NBA, right? And then kind of all the international leagues they're phenomenal leagues, they're great opportunities, right? And I don't want to sound naive, but from my perspective, Premier League, right? These
Oh,
international leagues seem to be king, and the World Cup and all those kind of big things that are happening versus the MLS. And so how for as a soccer player, getting ready for that journey, is it typically, you go from college to professional in America with dreams and hopes to now get over to Europe, or how do you kind of navigate that journey
yeah,
or
no,
try to?
another great question. Because, yeah, that is the dream on the soccer side. is to get over into those top five leagues in England,
Yeah.
Germany, Spain, all those. Yeah, my team is Liverpool out in England, and yeah, I would playing in the Prem would be the dream. And a lot of the American players who do end up playing overseas, a lot of them will get looks when they are younger in America, and they'll probably join their academy team. So they might even still be in high school, but they'll move overseas and go into their academy realm. You can have some players that go through the college space and then eventually maybe work their way up to playing in those overseas leagues, but a lot of it does come from getting noticed earlier. But it is cool to see. There's a lot of cool.
Dang, that's a different level of travel sports.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's nuts, and it's really cool. I mean, soccer in America it is starting to build momentum on the men's side. The women's side is already amazing, but on the men's side, starting to get more traction. There's leagues called MLS Next. That are really helping kids get exposure to the MLS teams. But then, if they are that good, there's also the European teams that are taking looks and giving them those opportunities.
Yeah, dang, okay. That makes sense. That's crazy. I mean, it's, we always joke about, we're talking about when is it, at what age should you start like traveling or playing teams
Yeah.
from out of state? And, it's a different kind of travel ball. That's
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go, yeah, 14, 15 years old. It's time to go live in a different country.
yeah.
I'm
Uh,
going
Oh
to
man.
Barcelona. What?
yeah.
Yeah,
But like,
that's
because those clubs over there, they have those academy programs, and they have kids 5, 6, 7 years old that are in that academy that academy is the path to eventually play on that team. So they started very early over there. I mean,
dang.
it's the world's game. So
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. So
yeah.
when you said that stepping out of the sport and feeling lost, I mean, how was it? What'd you do? What was your first job? How was it just kind of finally taking that jersey off and stepping away from it?
Yeah, no, definitely it was interesting. I was still coaching goalkeepers at Broomfield Soccer Club, so I would do that at nights, make some extra money. I would deliver for Amazon on the weekend, and then out of nowhere one night, I kind of just thought, what if I become a personal trainer? I don't know why the thought came into my head, but I was like, I love working out, love training athletes,
It
so
was running those 120-yard sprints
yeah,
and back.
yeah,
I'm gonna make somebody else
yeah.
suffer.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. It's like I can tell them to do it, but I'm not doing it. So yeah, got licensed as a personal trainer, all that good stuff. And one of my buddies, Grant, he had worked at the Lifetime Fitness in Flatirons up in Broomfield. So he got me a great recommendation, interviewed with them, got a job. So that was like my first, I guess, career job, whatever you want to call it, was a personal trainer at Lifetime Fitness.
Dang,
Um,
okay. Michael,
yeah.
does that sound familiar?
Sure does. That was my first major job too.
Yep.
Coming
Yep.
out of sports, Lifetime.
I love it. Were you a trainer at Lifetime?
I was.
Okay.
I
And
was in Northern Virginia, in Centerville,
okay.
Virginia, Northern
Yeah, yeah.
Virginia. I had a good
Awesome.
time. It was a fun period of my life. You're training, you're in the gym, doing what you
Yeah.
love, care about.
Yeah.
It was good. It was fun. I had a good time at
No, yeah.
Lifetime.
It was great, man. And especially, you meet a lot of people there, and
Yeah.
that's what got me into mortgage. Was one of my clients. I'd been training him a couple months, and he just reached out. He's like, Connor, let's grab a coffee. I want to talk to you about a few things. And he let me know about the lending space, mortgage, real estate, all that. And at the time, I was about 7, 8 months into personal training, and I was kind of looking to get out because I mainly got into train younger athletes to teach them how to train like an athlete.
Sure.
But as you know, Lifetime didn't really have that
Yeah.
space. But so yeah, I met with him. He let me know about it, and it was that same feeling I had when I wanted to go back to Mesa and play soccer. That gut feeling, I had that same exact feeling after meeting with him, and he offered me a job, and I just said, "Let's do it." And then yeah, almost
Dang.
2 years later, here we are, and it's another one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So yeah, super super happy about it.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. It's cool to have more of those moments in it now. And I mean, that's with, obviously in the industry that you're in now, there's a lot of competition and, autonomy and all those things. I mean, what do you think attracted you to the most or the most about just the mortgage industry?
Yeah, I'll be honest, in the beginning, it was a little bit of the money, because I just, yeah, transparent. I never really made that much money in my life, being an athlete, lower level pro,
Oh
never,
yeah, you're not making anything, man. I was
not,
making
yeah,
$5,000 a year in professional
yeah,
baseball.
exactly. So nothing crazy. So that definitely alluded to it. But I think a lot of it was learning that it is, it really is just building relationships with people. And similar to the personal training of selling training, you're selling yourself and your company and service to other, real estate agents, financial advisors, and then eventually your clients on buying a home. And it was just one thing where I just wanted to try different things, and it just happened to be the right fit once I learned more about real estate and getting people into homes and how it is, the American dream to buy a home. And if I can provide not only, the education and guidance to get you there, but then starting to learn, like, let's have a little bit of fun with it, enjoy it, get people excited. Because you guys know, yeah, mortgage, it's not that exciting. It's not the fun part. The fun part is going out with your
Definitely, yeah,
agent.
it's definitely not
Yeah,
the fun
yeah.
part.
It's going out with your agent, looking at houses, all that. So, but I said, why not, bring some fun to this, bring some excitement, while still getting the job done. And so, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, what I'm all about. And it's fun. I'm still learning, always learning. Definitely still learning my process systems. I'll be a lifelong learner for the rest of my life, because there's always ways to level up. But yeah, no, I love it.
No, man, that's awesome. I spent my time in there. I liked it. It's a good industry, right? And do you feel that you know, your experience as the goalie and those trials and tribulations from, going back to Mesa or back to school or, and kind of working through all that. I mean, what would you say do you see as like the biggest parallels or things that you were taught through athletics that you get to utilize now?
It definitely, and I think the biggest thing that comes to mind goes back to showing up to that coach's office for 5 times. Right?
Mhm.
You might reach out to, a new agent, new financial advisor, just new business partner, whoever, and they might not answer your call the first time and never call you back, but give them a call again the next week, and the next week, and the next week. Not in an annoying way, in a good, positive way, but that persistence of, until they tell me no, straight up, just Connor, like, stop. Like, no, I'll be like, all right, cool, sounds good. I'll call you in 3 months. I'm not, just kidding. But no, I think it is just that persistence and just understanding that nothing's ever going to be perfect. One of my biggest things from Kobe is, what comes easy won't last, and what lasts won't come easy. And once I started to frame that in my mind, I mean, that's sports. For teams that start off and are down and eventually win a championship, like, it's nothing easy. And so kind of having that framework, the persistence, adapting. I mean, that's life. Every second of every day, we're just adapting. And you learn that in sports. That's why I advocate heavily on that. That's why I still, like, coach a U15 girls academy soccer team in Broomfield, and teaching those girls that to help them not only win on the field, but win in life, is one of the most important things, that we can do for them. So
That's good, man. That's good. If you're watching this, you're a current athlete in college, transitioning out soon to the professional world. What Connor just said in the last 30, 45 seconds, get that into your interview. Put that in the interview process because
yeah,
a challenge with a lot of athletes coming out of the sports world is one, they're insecure about their work experience,
yeah.
but they've worked more than the most of the people that in their peer group.
Oh
Yeah,
And
yeah.
instead of, you,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that. And it is built up of, yeah, all this experience, and if you find the right employer, they realize that they hire for culture first, and
Yeah,
you can train those skills later.
no
So
doubt.
I would always say, yeah, y'all be confident in who you are as a person, because, like Mike, like you said, you've been working your whole life. And it might not be specifically in that industry or whatever, but that's how you learn in the industry, like,
Right.
as you go along. And so, yeah, just being confident and let them know that. And I think companies nowadays are more and more starting to realize, like, hey, we need to hire former athletes regardless of experience. So yeah, always be confident because you've been doing that your whole life.
Oh man, absolutely. That's no, I love that. And that's one of the things that we continue to try to tell a lot of these college age kids is that, right? And all these skills that you're learning. You can teach anybody to read a sales script, right? But at the same time, I mean, you just passed the MLO exam, right? There's
Yeah,
not that is very different than the actual job.
like
You know,
completely. Yeah,
but
completely.
no, that's great, man. And that was so much gold right there, in just everything that you said. And so, with all that being said, one of the things that I always like to try and figure out is so with your business now, what is kind of your how do you run your business? What's your methodology behind it? How do you operate? How do you like to go out and find people? How do you kind of just operate your day to day?
Yeah, no, definitely. In the beginning, it was I let everybody and anybody that I know let them know that I'm in the mortgage industry. Like
Hmm.
I would let everybody get excited about it, talk about it, and then I would either ask, "Hey, do you know a real estate agent? Do you know anyone in real estate that I could connect with?" And yeah, they'd be happy to give me a warm introduction, or they would just say straight up, "Oh, I know this real estate agent." So I would say the first 3 to 4 months was just making calls to those people that I got warm introductions to, setting up coffee meetings, all that good stuff, and then starting to learn to manage those relationships. I'm not a big cold caller. Don't do it that often. I usually just love to meet people in person and then build connections from there. Because the more and more people that you connect with and show positivity and energy to, they will more than likely connect you with other people. Because they believe that you're a good person to get in front of. So that's a lot of my prospecting. Definitely want to get it, referral based word of mouth because this is not, I don't do it transactional. It's definitely relationship based. I don't want to, obviously, this is what I do to make money and, feed my family and all that good stuff. But I want to build a relationship with every client that I have. One of my favorite things is just meeting new people because everyone has a different story and it's cool to hear those stories. So if I can take something from them and either learn from them or just be excited about working with them, that's everything. Like my initial call, when if I get a lead in, and I meet with them, the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm trying to talk about them and learn who they are as a person, and really get to know them, and then I'll get into the mortgage side of things because it's like, yeah, if we're just doing this just to make money and collect a paycheck, it's just it doesn't sit right with me, and that's just not what I want to do. Um, so like I want to, yeah, because I want to build relationships. Like I want to invite them to client appreciation stuff. Maybe they have kids that are athletes and I can train them. Like I want to have a personal relationship as much as it can be with that. So that is
Yeah, man, that's so awesome, and it's going about it the right way, right? I mean, I think that's it's so cool. I had an old boss, actually my mortgage boss, who his
yeah,
thing was be interested and not interesting, and that's kind of
ooh,
just be interested in somebody else and what their
yeah,
what their story is and their journey, and don't try to make yourself sound super interesting.
yeah.
So
No,
I love that, man, but it's going about it the right way, and it's doing the right things, right?
yep,
And that's a better path to build long-term
yeah.
growth and
It's
long-term successes.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a huge Dale Carnegie thing. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was the first book I read. And I think that book's the only book you need to read to get through in life. And it's genuinely being interested in people. And it's a skill that, takes some time. But like, as you really start to be genuinely interested in other people's lives, you start to unfold like how cool a lot of these people's lives are and
Yeah.
a lot of their experiences. And then like I'm the guy, I'll get down with the rabbit hole and we'll be talking for 15, 20 minutes and they're like, "Oh, Connor, this was great, but we do need to talk, about stuff." And I'm sorry, this is just awesome. So then I get into it, but that's just how I like to operate.
No, man, that's phenomenal, man. And so how do you obviously that's been a world in an industry that's been in I don't know what's the right way to say it, a rocky few
I say
years.
weird. It's been weird. Yeah, weird and interesting.
Yes, yeah, it's with rates being so low, then rates going up so high, and then just the chaos of it all. I
Yeah.
mean, how is it for you kind of getting in at a tough time and a tough market and navigating just the nature of the industry?
Honestly, it's a blessing in disguise. I am extremely thankful that I started during this time because it has taught me just to grind and to hustle and to just get after it, even knowing that it's not going to be that easy. If I would have started during COVID, when rates are in the twos and threes, everyone's trying to buy a house, everyone's refinancing, deals are flying in, I'm not even have to try. Like I'm gonna be like, oh, this is the easiest job in the world. Like, this is great. But then when that
Let me get that
all
check. Let me get some
exactly.
checks. Yeah.
Yep. But when that finite time, ends, then it's like, oh, now what? Now you're telling me I have to try to go, I have to go get business myself, So I'm extremely grateful that I got in during this time and might sound a little crazy, but it's going to help me, I think, prolong for the rest of my career. And I feel like if you can make it through this time, you can almost make it through anything.
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a blessing in disguise, and that's awesome. And so this is all right, here we go. Another funny personal curiosity. So you were once the sixth string goalie
Yep.
to the starter.
Yep.
How many times do you think in the last 2 years you've been a sixth string option as a lender to now being the starting lender?
Ooh, no, that's a great question. I think definitely a handful of times. Because that's it is every agent, if they're a good agent, they have their lenders, they have their people. But like if you bring, like I said, the energy that I believe I bring and just who I am as a person, they will at least give me a shot. And getting in and giving them that shot, and I never presume anything. If I meet with them, I say, hey, if we do business together, great. If we don't, no problem. I'll always be here, and it is that long game. Some people it's taken, a year, and they haven't sent anything, but I've slowly managed the relationship, and now, I'm starting to get some of that business. So it's the infinite game. One of my other favorite books by Simon Sinek, The Infinite Game. It's don't make those finite decisions right now. Make an infinite minded decision because in the future, like it's going to come back to you as long as you stay positive with them and believe in them. So yeah, I would say a handful of times. I believe, I hope that I'm, at least one of their top three. Because that was I've spoke on this as well and some other stuff is I started this saying when I got up at Mesa was all you can ever ask for in this life is an opportunity. And once that opportunity is given to you, it's on you to make the most of it. Um, I can live with myself if I'm given the opportunity and I fail. But if I'm never given the opportunity, then who knows what's going to happen. So as long as you receive that opportunity and you can go out and make the most of it, then that's all you can ever ask for at the end of the day.
No doubt. That's great, Connor. Okay, I got a couple questions for
Yeah,
you. As a goalie, what would you say separated yourself from other people? And now you moved into the professional world as a lender.
Yep.
What would you say separates you from other people as people are watching this and maybe considering to use your services? And it might be the same thing.
Yeah, no, I would say staying calm in the chaotic moments. There's a lot going on during a game. Emotions are running high. Just like say a deal is going south, maybe the other agent on the other side there's a lot of offers, different things, and there's a lot of emotions and stress going on. It's being able to stay calm in that moment so that you can keep your client and your business partner calm in those moments. Because I believe, the man or woman who keeps their emotions intact, they're the ones that are going to win. It is one of the hardest things to do in this life, but if you can find that calmness, that'll help things out in the future.
Love that, man. Love that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's definitely an emotional industry and sports is emotional as well. So that's phenomenal.
So,
Huh. Oh, Michael, what the heck? I thought you said you had a list of questions. Now you're just
I
going with
do.
one.
I
Oh,
do know.
okay.
I do. I do have a couple. I do have some more questions. Okay. To jump back, to your career in sports, or actually in your professional world now. What was your lowest moment sports wise? Whether it's coming back from an injury, whether not making a team, whether not whatever that case may be, and then give me a low moment professionally, and give me
Okay.
the thought process that got you out of that.
Yeah, I would say going. It would have been. It was funny. My eighth grade year, going to my freshman year, I had probably one of the worst games as a goalkeeper. We got thrashed like 9-0, and that whole season was just just a bad season. It was probably the worst season I've had in sports. And the next year we had gotten some other different players, and a couple years after that we won our state and all that, which was great. But I think that moment there was a time of wow, like I don't. There was a kind of not doubt, but just didn't know if I really wanted to do it. Um, and that would be a low moment for
That
myself.
led you straight to the football field.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, no, it really did. It kind of made me
Think of
think
my
like,
talents.
So, but then yeah, in the professional space, I would say, I didn't close my first deal until about 6 months in. And I think there's definitely times leading up to where, I was like, I'm doing all this activity, I'm doing all this, but nothing's really coming about it. So, as I'm thinking, am I not explaining things right? Am I not saying the right things, doing the right things? And yeah, there was a few moments leading up to it where, in a strictly commission based job, I was like, I'm not really getting paid. So it's like, what am I doing? But a lot of people have walked me through and said, hey, just focus on the activity. Like this takes time, this industry and everything, it takes time. And that did help me get out of things. I would say though, actually, I know I said that with sports, but honestly, when I did retire from soccer, that was definitely the low. Probably that is the lowest moment because like you said, it's been our whole career, and I thought I'd go farther and do it, but it just wasn't it. So you feel like you failed, not being able to. But a lot of great people that backed me and said, you didn't fail, man. Like look what you accomplished. And it was nice to be able to hear that from other people. But I always just set a very high standard, and that was my my obviously ultimate dream to get out to Europe and do all that stuff. And so I did feel like I had failed that, but as I get older and look back on it and everything I learned from that entire journey, I didn't fail at all. I learned a lot and couldn't be happier for the time spent with all that.
No doubt. That's good, man.
Yeah,
No,
that is some good stuff.
that is.
Oh
No,
man, Michael, you got your list, man. What the heck?
I know. I have a few more, but you go, and I got a
Going
couple more.
interrogation style.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh man, no, that's all such. So you were, talking about that point of, getting out of soccer and kind of going through that, and now as again, there's a lot of clarity in perspective and time, right? And so now that you are kind of out of it, getting established in your career, in a really good spot, what do you think? What would be kind of your biggest piece of advice or guidance, or what would you tell that Connor that was right in that moment of just getting off the soccer field?
Yeah, I would say just stay true to who you are and who you've been your entire life. Because at the end of the day, you're a person and a human first, compared to an athlete. So I would say really take a step back and look at yourself as a person and be like, hey, like I do a lot of great things outside of sports. Yes, this has been my whole your whole life, and that's your identity and all that, but it's just a part of what you did, and it's not who you are. You're so
No,
much more than just an athlete. But as you guys know, it's hard to think that, because that's you live that every single day. So it just becomes engraved in your brain. Like, I'm an athlete. I play this. I play this. So I would say, yeah, really just taking a look in the mirror and honestly just smile at yourself and be like, hey man, like you've done some cool things, and you people enjoy you, and now it's time to go learn new skills and just be accepting of everything that comes your way. Always try and learn something new whenever you can. Be a sponge, take in everything as possible. Learn from those that have done it before. There's a reason why they're in that situation, and they did a lot of those things to get there. So just sit down, ask questions, and listen. And if you do that, you'll like what you see.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. How do you think that Connor would have taken that information?
Yeah, no, yeah, no, he would have been like, dude, like I don't care. I'm still trying to play. I'm still trying to play. Like what? So no, it's easier said than done. Obviously, it's super easy for me to say that now, 2.5 years out. But, and I think it's understanding it is going to take some time. It's not just all of a sudden once overnight, you're going to be, reborn again. And it's going to take time to get there. And then there's nothing wrong with that. And I think understanding and accepting that early is a key factor as well. Just keep putting that foot one in front of the other and keep moving forward and just keep getting to work. And that's all you can do at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. It's always funny to think about, now that we are older and wiser and have
Yeah.
that perspective, the moments of, what we could have said, and then looking and thinking about the ego and the pride that we would have said that to, and how that would have
Yeah.
been received, right? But it's great to hear, and it's
Yeah.
that information is awesome, because for as much as you know younger Connor would have appreciated that information, there's plenty of people going through that right now, right?
Yeah.
And so
And yeah,
there's
that's why I wanted to plug in my coaching, because I love coaching, and that's one of the biggest things when I'm coaching these girls out in Broomfield is just teaching them what it means that once they're done, like we want you to win on the field, but we want you to win in life. And so if we can teach you those things now, hopefully you're ready by the time when you do hang up the boots that you're ready to go. And the first thing, our first rule is you have to be a good person. I don't care how good you are at soccer. You could be the best girl in the state, in the world. That if you're not a good person and a mean girl, that you don't have a spot on this team. That's not what we're trying to put into the world, right? Because it's our job to, yes, get these girls to go play in college, but then for them to be productive, human beings in the world as they go along once they're out of sports. So that's the biggest part of the culture that we build when we coach. And actually, I coach with my best friend Cody, who got me in at Mesa. So
oh, okay.
it's super cool, coaching with your best friend. We've known each other since we were 8 years old, and we've had this team for about a year and a half, and to see the progress and the buy-in of all them is just been super cool. And it's the true meaning of being a part of something bigger than yourself. Because we tell those girls, like, we're done, like our time is past, like this is your time now, we want to see you succeed. It doesn't matter what I did in the past, where I played at, like it matter, everything that matters is about you guys right now. And it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And I think it's even better than playing in college, being an All-American, being in pro. Like coaching these girls and just coaching in general will, it'll just, it's just giving something bigger than just being an athlete. Like I'm trying to create, you know, genuine good people that are going to be productive in society and hopefully help other people in that realm as well. So no, I love it. And yeah, I just had to plug them in here. Yeah, shout out to my girls, my U15 Girls Academy team in Broomfield. Yeah, we got big games this weekend against, we got New Mexico teams coming in. So
Oh man,
yeah. It's
Dang,
Saturday,
okay.
Sunday, 1 p.m. Broomfield Commons.
there
Pull
we go. There we go.
Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. I loved coaching it. It's again, there's nothing quite as rewarding or gratifying as being in those moments, right? And it's I mean, it's fortunate for those girls to have you in that position, right? Because that's what we've all gone through it, right? Good coaches, bad coaches, everything in between, right? And that's the best coaches that you always have. They're out there to make you a better person.
yeah,
They're out there
yeah,
to make you more well-rounded and all those good things, right? And again, there's so many people that are in that position of stepping away from the game, and so that hearing those tidbits and that advice and that guidance is awesome. And they're so fortunate and lucky to have you. It's exciting though. Big weekend.
yeah. No, yeah, big weekend. So yeah, I'm excited.
Wrapping up, wrapping up. Were there what would you say were common characteristics to soccer players or football players that were successful high school, college level that
Mm.
you see in the professional world? Are there any similar characteristics that carry over common?
Yeah, I think I think yeah, it would just be under the fact of just understanding things aren't gonna go the way that you think they're gonna go. Like just in sports, right? So you may have this game plan, you've been scouting this team all week, you see what they run, and then it comes to the game and it could be completely different. So then now it's boom, now I got to adapt on the fly right away. So I think that's the biggest thing, being able to adapt when you least expect it. Um,
Yes.
because yeah, you could be, say you got a closing coming up a few days too, like, oh, we're good to go. And then all of a sudden something hits the fan, boom. It's not like, oh, freaking out. What do we do? It's like, all right, let's adapt. What do we need to do to make this happen? And like I said, staying clear-minded in those situations, and back to staying calm during those. That I would say, yeah, most athletes, will learn how to handle that in the professional workspace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's come on, man. Wasn't it Marshawn? Everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the face.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
what
yeah,
was it?
yeah, yeah. That too. Yeah, yeah. Things change when that happens. Yeah,
Yeah. Low adversity
yeah.
changes people. It changes people
Mhm.
sometimes.
Oh, it absolutely does. All right, Michael, what else you got on that list? I'm curious.
Um, Being coachable. Like I think one of the things I've noticed professionally, the athletes that I've worked with are typically coachable.
Mhm.
Was
Yep.
that something that always came easy to you? Was there ever an ego pride thing young? And the next part of that is why could that be important to somebody watching this?
Yeah, no, I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because as I was growing up and younger, I was, one of the better athletes in the space, and I have everything to attest this to my mom. She would tell me, because she was an athlete as well. She was a college volleyball player at Metro, won some
Okay.
state stuff in high school, like great athlete. But she saw early that yes, I was, one of the better athletes. But she straight up told me, I don't care. She's like, you need to work as if you're the worst one. She said, like, almost saying, like, you're not special, Connor. Like, you need to work as if you're not the best. And I think that's the greatest thing that could ever have happened to me. Because she could have, hyped me up, all that, said, yeah, you're the best, or things go wrong, like, oh, my son's the best, whatever. But it's not. She's like, I don't care. You got to get to work regardless. Like, you can't take plays off just because of any reason, because you're maybe the best. Like, no. So that helped me become coachable from that realm, from my mom. And she was a coach as well. So learn that from her. And so then you take that to the professional spaces. You get into this and you're confident, like, oh, I was an athlete, I did this. And then maybe you start to pick things up a little quicker than others. It's being willing to always being coachable, because there's going to be plenty of people that have done it way before you. And you need to be able to take in everything from what they say, and never saying, like, oh, I already know that. Like, yeah, I know that, or I do that. It's like, no, take it all in. Being coachable, I think, is one of the biggest strengths anyone can ever have, whether it be in sports or in life.
No doubt. If you listen to this, hopefully you're taking some notes, because you will ace that interview. I promise you, if you're able to articulate what Connor's talked about today, and some of the things that he's learned along his journey. So I hope you're listening. I hope you're taking notes. On a podcast, a few podcasts ago, we talked about with Brandy, I believe, but there's points for a lot of athletes where their self-worth was based off of their performance,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
Right. Talk a little bit about, did you experience that? I mean, obviously, if you play better, you typically feel a little bit better. But
Yeah.
was that tied directly to how you felt about yourself? Talk, and maybe as a youth, it was different as a collegiate athlete, because there's a little bit more pressure, higher stakes. But talk us through that.
Yeah, I think 100%. And I think every athlete goes through that, because it's easy, after you have a great game, to feel like, oh, yeah, I did great, feel great about yourself. I'm the man, whatever. But then, of course, you're going to have those games where, yeah, it's not as great. You make a lot of mistakes, turnovers, whatever it may be. I definitely, had that when you have those games, and one, you feel like, oh, am I good enough to,
Mm,
take this to the next level? I think that was the big thing. Certain games would happen. You play against certain people, and you're like, I don't know if I'm, capable, of going to the next level. Which there's also a lot of, it is good to, get humbled a little bit as you're growing up and play against other players that are better than you, because that's how you're going to get better. So it's being able to, again, adapt to that. But yeah, no, there's been plenty of times where, yeah, you feel like, this is my whole thing, and maybe if you get feelings from certain people, you don't have a good game, and they're like, oh, well, why were they so receptive when I had a good game? But
yeah.
that's the advice I would give. That's when you really learn who's in your corner. If
Mm,
there are people that are with you, even when you have a bad game or a bad day, and they're still there to support you, those are the people that you want to keep in your circle. We do that when we do evaluations for our girls. We're pretty hard on them, but we're very realistic and speaking the truth on those. We tell them, if we just give them all, fours and fives, A's and B's, like, we tell them, those aren't the people you want in your life. Like, you want the people that are telling you what you need to get better, not just gassing you up for no reason. Like those people don't care about you. Like we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't care. Like yeah, shout out to my buddy. He created this whole evaluation form that wasn't even the one we got from our club. Like he went all in on it, and it was pretty cool. And that's I was telling these girls like you're not going to get a lot of coaches, especially at 14-year-old girls soccer club level, where you have a coach like that is willing to go that extra mile for you and do that. So if you can, identify that early, like keep those people in your circle.
Love that, man. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to do it. But yeah, man, sweet. This has been
Yeah.
awesome. Before we wrap up here, so with 3 Point Mortgage,
Yep.
if we got people listening in that
Yeah.
are excited about you, and so are you. Colorado, where you licensed at? What do you specialize in? What's
Yeah.
the best way to get in touch with you? All that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Full self commercial
Yeah.
plug.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you asking. So we are, we're the second biggest broker in Colorado last year. We have hopes and aspirations to be the first biggest broker here, and then eventually the biggest lender. We are licensed in 24 states, plans to be in 45 by the end of the year, so we can, do business in pretty much every single state. And I think as I've, been with them a couple months now, it's just the transparency and the integrity that the company provides. We're always going to get the job done, good communication, great, good rates, pricing, all that good stuff. That's just baseline stuff. But we're all about just guiding people and connecting people with the people that they need to be in front of, and letting them, taking the stress away out of the situation. And we never presume anything, right? If you want to work with us, great. If you don't, no problem. We'll always be here to help. Even if we're not a part of a deal, we'll be more than happy to help you and guide you through those situations. We're just trying to help people. And yeah, if you want to get in contact, my number is 303-489-7903. Feel free to call or text me anytime. I'm always open for a call. Everything, everything is it's free consultation. You don't pay anything until you close the loan. Like, I don't charge people to just talk to them and have them ask questions. I think that would be crazy to do. So and we're all about, if it can't happen today, whether it's 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, I mean, it doesn't matter. We'll help you whenever that time frame comes. And if you can't get approved now, we'll tell you what you need to do in this amount of time to get you there. So, because we'd love for you guys, anybody to be clients. And we'd love to connect with anybody that are like-minded athletes, and just keep the conversation going and just build together. Iron sharpens iron. And that's one of the most true statements that I've ever heard. So.
Oh man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, it's funny. I like these goalies. These goalies are
Yeah, if you can find some
good,
hockey
man.
goalies too, those dudes are unreal. Like
They different.
goalies are, they're I think one of the most like flexible athletes. Like full splits across the ice, all this, and I don't even know how they see the puck, like all those things. So yeah, but goalkeepers in general, whether it be soccer or hockey, those are people you want to talk to.
All right.
Oh man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, again, man, we appreciate you taking the time
Yeah,
to
of
jump
course.
on with us. This has been awesome, man. So many good tidbits in there. Just so many things for people. I mean, just an impact on people's lives, right? And so we appreciate it, man. We're excited to see you continue to grow. You're going about it the right way. And so we're excited to continue to be there and support you, and always happy to talk to people like
Yeah,
yourself. It's good. It's good for us to have people around like you,
yeah,
right? And so, yeah, we appreciate the time, man.
yeah.
Appreciate all the insight. And yeah, just really wish you all the best successes and everything going
Yeah.
forward.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I love doing this. Yeah, any way that I can help the company, the brand. Like I said, it hits home not to myself, but to, pretty much any athlete that's been at the higher level. So it's really cool what you guys are doing. And yeah, whatever I can do to stay a part of it and help you guys grow and just help out, more people. That's what it's all about. So no, I love it.
Okay.
Awesome, man.
Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, yeah, we'll talk soon, and yeah, have a good rest of your day, y'all.